Welcome to another episode of Your Turn Podcast. Thanks for all the emails and all the feedback I've been getting. That's very cool. I love hearing from you guys. So if you don't know yet, you can email me at rod@yourturnpodcast.com. Do a search for me on Facebook. It's Your Turn Podcast. I don't have a URL on Facebook, so you actually got to search for it. So do a search for Your Turn Podcast on Facebook, or you can follow me on Twitter at MetalheadRod. Also, don't forget to rate us and comment on iTunes. It'll really help us out if you do that. Today I'm interviewing a good friend of mine named Brent Fox. We've been friends for about 12 years. Met in the local music scene. He helped my band out a lot. Very cool. We used to be roommates and everything. That's another story. But anyways, he was once a Christian and turned atheist, and that's what we're here to talk about. So what's up, Brent?
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while.
It has been a while. So, I really want to, first of all, I'm going to talk about your upbringing, your religious upbringing. Your parents are Christian, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And you got sent to a Christian school.
I did.
Okay. So, at what point, do you believe that you were saved in the Christian sense, saved? When you were an actual Christian, do you believe that you were saved at the time?
Not in the sense that I think most Christians are striving for. I think there's this assumption that I was, because that's the way I grew up, it's all I knew. But I think it's something I was always striving for.
To be saved?
To be good enough to be saved.
So you thought that you had to be good enough to be saved? Like
Yes.
Jesus? Is that what you were taught?
I think that's a core principle of Christianity, yes.
You have to be good enough to be saved.
Yeah, you wouldn't say.
No, I totally disagree. Anyone can be saved.
No.
Yes.
Well, okay. So there's that principle that anybody can say on their deathbed or whatever, forgive me, blah, 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 and they go to heaven, right? Which I always thought was a load of crap. But I think the premise is that as you're living your life, to be as a Christian, that your daily life should be reflective of Christian values.
Sure.
Okay, so
Sure.
then I felt like living life, I was never good enough to be what was, taught in the Bible and striving of Jesus and all that kind of crap.
So did you ever get baptized?
Yes.
You did get baptized?
Yeah, I think, so the way I grew up, babies got baptized or whatever, they don't really call it baptism. And then once you were old enough to actually say this is what I believe or whatever, then you got baptized also. And what happened was my dad was getting baptized because he came from a different, not faith, but denomination or whatever, which did things differently. And then my older brother was getting baptized, so I was like, hey, I'll jump on the bandwagon. And so yeah, technically I got baptized, but I was 13, and was I old enough to actually comprehend what I was doing? Not really.
Right. Well, you've been pretty versed in the Bible, though, since you went to Christian school all your life, right? So you read the Bible, at least most of it.
I probably read all of it several times.
Several times, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So at what age or what point did you decide there's no God?
I was a junior in high school, walking down the hallway. I remember it vividly.
Really?
Yeah.
You just, a thought came in your mind and said there's no God?
Okay, so remember how I was telling you how I felt like I could never live up to the values of Christianity or whatever, and that's really what I felt when I decided that there was no God. And the issue was I was a junior in high school, and there's all these gorgeous girls around, and I couldn't go like 30 seconds without having impure thoughts and all that kind of junk. And it was like, how can I possibly be a Christian when I feel this way all the time? And looking back, it was like a freaking idiotic, thought to think I could be better than biology. But that's honestly how I felt. I took it very seriously, and I was reading a lot of science fiction at the time, some Arthur C. Clarke and stuff like that, and it made me think, okay, there's this universe outside of our world, and it really made me think, there's got to be other beings outside of humans. It doesn't make sense to be so anthropocentric, so human focused, and that's exactly what Christianity is. It's all about humans and this world and everything. And it just didn't make sense to me when you think on a bigger picture that, we matter that much. And so that kind of was what led to it. And there was really no, plan for it, obviously. It just occurred to me as holy crap, there is no God. And it was boom, and there I was. And I remembered exactly where I was walking down the hallway in my high school. And
was that a huge relief for you?
it was huge.
And
it wasn't because I was oh God, finally I can, think all these immoral thoughts, because I still had this, you don't just immediately say, okay, I'm going to be a different person now, and live the way of the world or whatever, it's it's still ingrained in you. But it was holy crap, it was more of a relief that is I don't even know how to explain it. It's such a relief knowing that there isn't this ultimate goal in life, and that not everything you do is being judged by some higher power.
I gotcha. That makes sense, but
So you're on my side. Is that what
not
you're
at all.
saying?
It makes sense though.
I'm getting there.
I can understand.
All right.
No. Okay, so you have 3 siblings.
I do.
You've got an older brother and a younger sister who are Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got another brother, your younger brother, who is also an atheist, I believe.
I don't know.
Or he has his...
This is not something we talk about in my family.
This that you don't talk about in your family at all?
Hell no.
No?
No, I mean, I'm sure that my parents know. I'm sure that my siblings know. But it's so taboo to even talk about this. I mean, it's... No chance we'd ever talk about this. So
really?
I can't say for sure what anybody else is, any of them. And I'm sure they know, because I'm not exactly non-vocal about it, although I try to be careful around them. But yeah, so I can't really speak for them.
Right. That's cool. Well, I mean, do you care if I start asking you some tough questions?
Yeah, I've been waiting for them.
Okay. All right, this isn't to disprove that you're wrong or that I'm right. But after researching, excuse me.
Way to lead into that one.
But after researching these questions, it blows my mind that people don't believe in God. Seriously.
Wow.
It blows my mind.
I cannot wait to hear this question, Rob.
No, there's a bunch of questions here. All right, well, basically, so since you don't believe in a creator, you don't believe in any God, right?
No.
There's no God, there's no creator.
Nothing.
How did this universe and this world start?
Do you need to know the answer to that to feel like you can live a good life?
Nope.
Okay, so why do I have to be able to say, this is exactly how the world started, this is how the universe started? I think that there's a very scientific explanation for it, and I think we're getting closer and closer to the answer. But that is one of those things that I've decided for myself is I want to know as much as I can about the world, more so than most people that I know. But I'm okay admitting that there's things that I don't know yet, or that we as a civilization don't know yet. And I truly think that that's what religion is about for most people, because most people have a hard time dealing with that, and they need to have answers. I think that's just human nature, that we need to have answers to everything, and religion is a very easy way to explain away all those unknowns.
That's actually not true.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of unknowns, such as, let me just point out something that someone just recently said to me. They're not sure that they believe in God because they can't figure out why bad things happen to good people. No one can. No one has all the answers. The Bible is not going to give you every single answer. I mean, God isn't going to give you all the answers, or else it would be pointless that He was God, right? So we don't have all the answers. But I believe the Bible provides enough answers for what we need to know here on Earth as we're living on Earth.
Well, see, I can say science knows equally or more. I think that if you looked at the history of what Christianity is, or really any of the religions, and back to the Middle Ages or even beforehand, you can see how that religion has morphed as we start to find out more and more about the world. So I think science, it might take 200 years, whatever, I don't know. But science at some point is going to answer enough questions where people are like, I'm an idiot. Why the hell was I ever believing there was a God?
That's good. Okay, so basically, you got to believe that Darwinism is correct. Am I right? That everything had to evolve. I mean,
I do think that, yeah. Natural selection is a key to, where things are today. And I think, for Christians, for example, to say, okay, dinosaurs don't exist. These were put here by God 10,000 years ago because if you add up the ages of everybody in the Bible, that's what we come to. And, people who stick to that kind of stuff, I think are just idiots. And I'm sorry, if evidence is presented to you that things are older than your religion says it is, then you either need to change your religion or you need to ditch the religion. But you don't say, okay, the religion's still right, science is wrong, the evidence is wrong.
Science has yet to disprove the Bible, though.
It'll never be able to because it's a faith-based religion. So I don't think science, the goal of science isn't to explain away religion. I mean, that's my personal endeavor, but science, the purpose of science is to explain why things are in the world. And, you can have Christian scientists, and they're okay with that because they're saying, okay, we're just, revealing the majesty of God or Jesus or whatever. But at the same time, I think most scientists are pretty intelligent about this and are like, we're not trying to kill religions here, we're just trying to explain what we see. And I don't think there's anything that's anti-religious about that at all, even though the Christian community might be opposed to that, because I think they're afraid of revealing answers that can explain away the Bible.
But do you realize there's just hundreds of thousands of Christian scientists out there as well?
Yeah, I totally admit that.
And who can explain creation, how God did it in 7 days.
They can or can't?
Can.
They can.
And they can explain away Darwinism, evolution.
Oh, I know.
And
okay.
I've read tons and tons of it.
If you take certain information, you can explain anything you want about it depending on what you're trying to say.
I understand.
And I think scientists do that at the same time, because there's a huge population of scientists out there that are very much anti-religion, and they will twist the information as well. But I'm talking about pure science, and pure science is about explaining facts without any of the fluff and, any of the political meanderings or whatever that is involved. I think pure science is beauty because that's really just talking about what the answers are, and it's saying, we don't know what these things are, we're going to discover them, we're going to do our best to interpret them.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay, so how can it, here's, I have a list of questions for you. I'm just going to start throwing them out there for you.
Go for it.
How can anyone doubt the reliability of Scripture, considering the number and proximity to the originals of its many copied documents? Does that make sense?
So you're saying because of the number of copies?
And the reliability of them.
Uh-huh.
If you take the earliest copies and compare them to today's Bible, nothing's been changed. Does that make sense?
Well, hold on here now. So are you saying atheists believe that the Bible has changed?
No. I'm saying how can you, okay, I'll tell you what.
What are you assuming about me, I guess, is the question.
I want to take out that question.
No, I totally
I
want to
know
answer
what you're
this.
saying. Okay. Basically, you take the oldest manuscripts of the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
which we have,
Mm-hmm.
and there's been so many copies,
Mm-hmm.
so many different people, scholars have copied all these, so there's
Mm-hmm.
thousands of copies out there, and that here we have the Christian Bible that we know today,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no errors in it compared to back then, right? So I'm saying, how can the Bible exist for that long without changing it? If you take other religions, I won't mention them, they've had to change their Bible around to fit the times, or because it's been proven false.
Oh, that's what you're trying to say.
Right. Nothing has been changed from the original manuscripts to now. Everything's been... Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I guess first I want to question the premise of that, because for one, you are not a biblical scholar, and I seriously doubt you've ever read the original. And
I've read it many times.
have you? Wow, that's something I never knew about you. So I guess my first question is, you're relying on other people's information to demonstrate the validity of this, and without your personal interest in this and ability to say that this is actually the truth, I'm going to say that, we can't say that that's fact. And then on top of that, I can say that there are definitely manuscripts that are available, that were written, that were found in the Dead Sea, along with the Dead Sea Scrolls, and who decides what was in the Bible? And you got to admit the Catholic Church had a big impact on that, and you did not find stuff about women liberties and suffrage and stuff like that because the Catholic Church had an agenda. And so to say that what's original exists as it is today, I think that's highly dubious, because I think you can say there's definitely been political interests that have dictated what is available in the current Bible, and I think the Mormons would definitely disagree with you, because there's a whole chunk of stuff in their Bible, in the Quran, that is not available in the Bible, the Christian Bible, that is completely relevant to them and was found at the same time and all that kind of stuff. So to say what the Bible is today is not has not been a product of our times, I think is disagreeable for sure.
Well, what do you think of the archaeological documentation of Bible stories, places, and people? Even today, there's so many findings to prove that those people from the Bible existed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you discount that at all? Do you believe that the
do
Bible?
I have to? I mean,
no.
I
Sure.
can say Jesus existed and he was the son of a carpenter.
Well, let's go there. Let's go there. Did Jesus exist? Jesus Christ exist?
Not the Jesus that you think existed.
Really? So you do believe that there's a Jesus? He was a teacher?
I think it's highly possible that there was a person out there, Jesus, who really impressed a lot of people and had some sort of cult following and had all the disciples and all that. I have no doubt about that. I have no doubts.
Okay, but he claimed to be the Messiah.
Yeah.
And there's 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John,
right,
to say that he did, plus all the letters that Paul wrote, etc.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So all these people say that Jesus claimed to be God.
Right.
The Son of God. He died and rose again.
Right.
There's all this evidence to that, but I'm just saying, if Jesus said he was God, wouldn't that make him a lunatic?
Yeah, I think he is a lunatic, just like David Koresh. Say David Koresh had 4 of his friends say, okay, he died in whatever and rose again, and 2,000 years later, people believe it's because 4 of his friends wrote the same thing.
That's not true. Hold on. Luke was not friends with Jesus. He's a doctor. Anyways, we could go really deep into this. But
I'm happy to, too.
I'm sure you are.
So, I mean, I do think that it's kind of interesting that the stories persisted as long as they did, because obviously we know that the New Testament, the majority of it, wasn't actually written until 200 years after, Jesus died. So I think...
That's not
entirely
true,
okay.
But go ahead.
Let's hear it.
That's not what I've heard. As little as 70 years from the time that Jesus has died is when they can find when he...
Yes, I agree. Okay. I agree. But then, what was it? Oh, jeez. It's been too long since high school. I don't remember. Either way, I'm not going to, debate numbers. But either way, it was a significant amount of time since the existence of this person called Jesus. And so we're relying a lot on people's secondhand accounts, memories, stories being passed on, that kind of stuff.
Well, if you take the book of Acts into account, it says that there's 500 witnesses to Jesus' resurrection.
Mm-hmm. Miracles, whatever. We're talking about hearsay over there, and a lot of people 2,000 years ago that want to believe in something, and that's easy answer for them.
There's no hope for you, Brent.
I'm aware of that.
Well, I'd like to go back to there not being a creator. You obviously don't believe there's a creator. When I take a look at something like the complexity of my eye, just everything about the human body, how it works, how there's male and female, how can evolution create such a almost perfect thing as humans? I'm sorry, but we're not perfect by any means.
That's for
but
sure.
I'm saying we have so much complexity to us,
right,
that makes it work.
Right.
How can that...
Can you comprehend 5 billion years? I don't think any human can comprehend 5 billion years.
Sure.
How old do you think the universe is? Let me ask you that.
I believe somewhere around 10,000 years.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
You seriously do? Rod. Seriously?
What do you mean, seriously? I'll bring over some cool DVDs.
No,
you'll be like, wow.
please don't.
Wow.
Well, maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
if we want to laugh, that'd be fine.
I've got to sit through this boring interview, so you're good.
Okay, well, if you believe it happened in 10,000 years, then yes, I can find it very hard for you to believe that we can be who we are today in that amount of time. But when you look at the age of the universe, or the world being Earth, then the real age, not the biblical age, then I think it's pretty easy to see how things can happen in incremental degrees that lead us to where we are today.
Okay.
Really,
okay,
10,000 years?
Sure.
God.
Okay, hold on.
We're going to have a chat after this.
Yep. And I got a really good follow-up question to that. Hold on one second. Okay. So, okay, something as small as a brain can understand extremely complicated aspects of the universe, such as, scientists are incredibly intelligent, especially in the last 100 years. Humans have just discovered amazing things. Just look at technology, computers. You're a computer nerd. I mean, seriously, that's some pretty technical stuff that, the fact that we can not only talk on the phone, 60, 70 years ago, whenever that came out, 100 years ago, but now we could Skype and look at each other from across the world.
Right.
That technology is amazing. But how come the human brain can't duplicate a human brain? If we're that smart, how come
How do you know? How do you know we can't?
We can't.
We haven't so far.
100
years ago, say it was like 1900, and someone's asking, how come humans can't fly yet? Birds can fly, and then 3 years later we're flying. It's just give it some time. I have no doubt about it.
You are a very intelligent person, and I think that human beings have different amounts of intelligence. I might be better at something than you are.
Absolutely.
And I think you're intelligent with conversation, arguments, and obviously you've been thinking about this for a long time.
No, I haven't. You just told me about this like 3 days ago.
No. It's 3 days. No. You've been thinking about your beliefs.
Oh, absolutely. Every day of my
Sure. I don't have all the answers. I don't read my Bible every day.
Right.
So I'm probably looking like a fool here because you're more intelligent.
Oh, no.
But, no, hold on.
You're doing fine. I'm sure all the Christians are going to believe you, and all the atheists are going to believe me. That's the way it works.
Well, I've seen Christians on TV that try to argue, and I think they're idiots. It's like, why didn't you say this? Why didn't you think that, you could have had a better argument.
Right.
And so people think that way of me, whatever. But I'm just saying, would you be interested in having a discussion with someone that might be of more intelligence than I am about Christianity?
Any
interest in that? Not a debate per se, but...
Yeah, I can do that.
Really?
You're going to ask me on the spot? I mean,
okay,
seriously.
I've got my preacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
You warned me about that.
All right, let's move on.
I don't study the Bible or anything like that, it's just so you know.
I understand.
So my facts are a little bit wrong when it comes to the Christianity stuff.
Do you care if I ask your political...
No, I'll go for it. I don't care.
What
you can
are
ask
you?
me anything.
Democrat? Republican? What are you?
I'm liberal. Extreme.
Who'd you vote for?
I generally don't vote.
Okay, if you were to vote, who would you have voted for?
I wouldn't have voted because there's no one out there that can actually do a good job.
Okay.
I mean, they're the same. It doesn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrat. They're like this, right in the middle, and it doesn't even matter. Okay. So if you want change, you don't vote, and you just wait for the collapse of the U.S.